This is Josh Anderson with BagpipeMaster.com. I'm excited today. We get to learn our first song, Amazing Grace. This is a classic. You're going to be asked to play this a lot, so definitely exciting to learn how to play a song. I want to start out by showing you the sheet music, and then I'll show you kind of slow motion on the chanter, what it looks like, and then we'll go through the final product of what it looks like. So I kind of want to break it up into those different portions. Alright, let's get started. Okay, looking at the sheet music for Amazing Grace, this is actually a really easy song overall. It starts on a low A. We know how to play grace notes. Talked about that. So it goes dun, dun, and you have this combination of grace notes, kind of a D doubling of sorts. It looks like you're playing a D, and as you're playing that D, then you play a G grace note that's played on the D, and then what breaks up that D and the next D is a low G tap. So it should be like dun dun da dun. Just really quick. I'll show you what it looks like on the fingers, but it's just basically a G and a low G. And then you move up to the F with a G grace note. Moving down to E, D. Here's some more Fs with G grace notes on those. That's easy. And then a throw on D here. We learned that in exercise 23. If you haven't gone through some of the things needing to build up to this song, you can just reference that on the website. Also a G grace note, that's easy. And then as you're playing the B, you just quickly drop down to a low G and then A. So it's a duh and duh, kind of a drop down and back up. And that's how you play that low G grace note. And that's the first line. Okay, good. So you've seen what it looks like on the sheet music. I want to kind of point out some of the things of what it looks like on the chanter. We're going to start on the low A, so you can get your fingers ready here, low A. You play a G grace note on that, and then you go up to the D with it's a G grace note, and then a tap that you close these three fingers. You need to close all of them and then release back off to the D. So a little faster, it'll look like this. So from the beginning. Pretty easy so far, right? Then we move up to the F with a G grace note. All that is just the little tap there. Dun. Pretty easy so far from the beginning. And then you continue on playing the G grace note on the F. Now that thing I just played, that was the throw on D. So you start on the E, and then you go to the low, you go to a low G. So to do that, you close your E and your little pinky finger there. And then once you're at the G, you immediately bounce up to the D here. And then you do a little tap. Just a little tap there. We went through this on exercise 23, so if you need to review this, that's fine. And then you continue after the throw on D. And then this one, it's a low G going to an A. So B, G, A. And that's the first line. second line here, we have that same D tap, so it repeats itself. Isn't that super easy? You just learn this section. Now you get to repeat it. Dun dun da dun 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 dee. So all of this up until this point has been repeated. It's the exact same thing you learned in the first line. The only difference here is the third and fourth measure of the second line. You play a high A doubling. So it's like dun dun da 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 dee da da da. So you play an A with a little brush on it. I'll show you what it looks like on the chanter. And then you also do a second brush. Da, and that's the second line. Pretty easy. Dun, dun, dun. And then after that A, you throw another tap in there. Da, da, and the fourth measure of the second line. Super easy. Let's go back to the sheet music. Okay, third line. You start out here on the F. Da da da. Little G grace note. Da 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 da. That should feel very similar. That same pattern is right here. Da dee da. See, exact same thing as the first line. Throw on D just like the first line. B, B. Go into the low G, then A. So basically, the third line, all of this section is the exact same as this section. The only difference is that little intro. Instead of a throw on D, it's an A. This should look like review, but basically, going from the pickup notes in the previous line. So I think that should feel pretty much the exact same as the first line, except for the very, very beginning, instead of a D tap, it's a high A tap. That's easy. Let's go to the last line and look at the sheet music. Okay, the last line, the fourth line, that D doubling tap, exact same thing as the first. Da 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 da. Very, very similar. The only difference is it goes from the F to the E, and then it kind of slows down here at the end. Just three basic notes held for almost the whole measure, really for the whole measure. So it's da 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 dee da 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 da. All right, this is exciting. The last line. We're so close to knowing our first bagpipe song. The last line is we already know how to place the first measure. It looks the same as the second line. So on here, it just looks the same. That's easy though. Second measure in the fourth line. Da, dee, and then you do a throw on D. So we already know how to play a throw on D. We already know how to do the D doubling. Awesome song. People love this. Let's go ahead and run through the entire thing. I'd encourage you to play along with, and let's play the entire song, Amazing Grace. Try playing this at 52. 1, 2. exciting. We learned our first song. Don't expect it to be perfect the very first time you go through it. I know, like any song, for me it takes a little bit of practice and work. This is definitely a great song, one of my favorites. Super easy to learn the technical side, but definitely something that you can spend some time really putting some heart and emotion into as you play it. And people are going to love this. You can play this, at Memorial Day, during different graveside ceremonies. Definitely a very touching song that people love. So thank you so much for learning Amazing Grace with me, and look forward to many more great lessons at bagpipemaster.com. Thank you.